Hello and welcome to Mental Health Monday Recovery 5, Self-Care 3. Today I'm going to be talking about 4 things that I particularly keep an eye on that help me to stay level. And my definition of keeping an eye on them may differ from yours. So I thought I'd do this video just to show you how I do things, or tell you how I do things, and hopefully give you some ideas for helping yourself with these particular things, and they are diet, exercise, sleep, and time to yourself. Now, with diet, we start off already where my definition of diet differs from a lot of them. I don't mean dieting, and I don't mean something like clean eating, although I have tried that before because I exercise and I wanted the exercise to have, specific results. What I mean is what I have come to do with my diet, which is I eat the things that make me happiest, but the healthiest version of those things. So I like very carby foods, I like sweet foods, I'm very naughty, so I try and eat those foods but made from fresh ingredients. So I cook from scratch and I use only fresh ingredients. Also, because I can't really eat bread or pasta with ordinary wheat in, I switched to gluten-free. Now that's not because I'm gluten intolerant. I just discovered that bread and pasta were making me feel very bloated and low and tired, and I love pasta. Pasta is like my #1 food love, so I couldn't take it out of my diet completely. I did try it with courgette, like spiralized courgette, and that just made me feel like gross as well. It's difficult to do stuff with my eldest in the house, I'm telling you. Anyway, I switched from courgette to gluten-free pasta, and it has been a revelation. And I try to steer clear of too many cookies and cakes and whatnot, because I have a tendency to reach for those, and I have kids, so I buy biscuits and stuff. Fortunately, I don't like ice cream. I know, shock horror, but I don't like ice cream, so if I buy them ice creams I don't have to touch them. I'm not like, oh, ice cream. So, but I am like that with the biscuits, always with the biscuits and the crisps. It's terrible. So I just try and keep it to a minimum with the naughty stuff, and with the rest of the stuff I eat what I like, but I cook it from scratch and I use fresh ingredients, and I steer clear of all artificial stuff in as much as possible. I also try and keep down on my coffee. I try and keep it to a maximum of 2 coffees a day, although sometimes I pop up to 3, because the more coffee I have, the more I crash as well. Because yeah, cyclothymic, mood disordered, caffeine, woo, woo, So that's how I deal with my diet, and it's not, a specific set thing. It's just like, I suppose it's like the way you should deal with a diet. You should eat healthily, and that's what I do, but I eat the things that I love, and I try and eat the healthiest version of them. Exercise. I exercise at least 5 to 6 times a week. Or at least I should. I don't always. The best for me is exercising 5 to 6 times a week, and at least 3 of those sessions exercising at least 30 minutes. In the other 3 or 4 sessions, I try and keep it at least 15 minutes. But definitely 3 sessions a week at least, I try and exercise for half an hour. Now, I use YouTube videos. I watch Fitness Blender, HasFit, Gymra, Body Rock, although they use a lot of equipment, and there's always a lot of, I can't do stuff that uses my shoulders too much because I've got crappy shoulders and they just argue with me, and stuff that overstresses my knees I can't do. So I try and choose the lowest impact on the parts of my body that don't like to be overworked. And I try and then keep up a mixture of weight training and cardio and things like yoga, which keeps your body fluid. And that works best for me, and I have to do it that way. If I don't exercise, my mood plummets. Not only because I start to feel sluggish and unhealthy and tired because I don't have the energy to do the things I need to do, but also because it helps me sleep better, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I think it's extremely important to try and exercise however you can. I exercise at night. It's the only time I've got to exercise. I ain't going to a gym. I'm certainly happy to be around people more in certain situations, but gym is still off that list. Way off it. Not going to be around people in a gym. No. Just can't. I've tried it. Just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel at ease. So I exercise at home in the evening. Now, I was being stupid and exercised at 1:30 in the morning, and it was ridiculous. it was ridiculous. So I try and exercise between 9 and 11 now, and that's working much better for me. But like I said, I don't always do what I should. I find I get bored of exercises before my body reaches the point where it can no longer do anything with that specific type of exercise. So I switch around a lot, which is why I use YouTube, because there's so many different sort of channels that do exercise. At the moment, my favourite is Fitness Blender, because they do a combination of weight training and cardio and stuff, and it's very, very interesting, and I can do a different thing every single time and feel like I'm not going back to the same routines, because there is nothing worse than constantly doing the same routines for me. I get so bored of it and then I don't want to do it anymore, and that leads to disaster. So yes, if you're going to exercise, exercise when you can. Exercise interval training if you possibly can, because it's the best way to do it, and you don't need to do it forever and ever and ever. I mean, 20 minutes exercise is so much nicer to contemplate than an hour and a half, isn't it? So you don't need to worry about finding an hour and a half. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, interval training is the best. Next, it's sleep. I am very bad at sleeping. Really, really bad. I'm a night owl. I go to bed way too late, but lack of sleep really, really badly impacts my mood. This is the thing that I find hardest to keep on top of. I prefer to go to sleep at sort of like 1 a.m. That's my best time for going to sleep. That's when I'm going to get to sleep. But then I don't sleep well. I wake up a lot during the night. I'll wake up at specific times of the night. It is maddening. I'll wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning every bloody day for 3 weeks. Or I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and then 5 a.m. It's just annoying. Or I'll wake up at 5 and then wake up every half hour after that. I have these weird patterns of sleep that I get into and I can't get out of. Pretty much the only thing, the single thing that has helped me with my sleep is the exercise. I find if I'm exercising, then I sleep deeper. I still might wake up, for sure. I still might not get to sleep until later, absolutely for sure. But I sleep deeper. It's a more refreshing sleep. So that's literally the one way I have discovered. I've tried everything else. The only thing that really helps me get deeper, more refreshing sleep is exercise. So that's what I do, and that's why it's so important for me, apart from all the other benefits of exercise, to keep up my exercise routine, because it helps with my sleep. So I would suggest to you, just, you know, try and find what works for you, because something will, hopefully, fingers crossed. It might not, and I'm really sorry if nothing works for you, but maybe something will. So keep trying, keep looking for whatever you can to help your sleep, because it is of vital importance to sleep properly, especially if you're mood disordered or depressed. You want to get that refreshing sleep that helps you work through all the stuff that you've had to deal with in the day, and helps your body repair itself and your brain repair itself. All very important stuff. The final and equally important thing that I keep an eye on is getting enough time to myself. If you are an introvert who finds being around people difficult and you need recuperation time, if you have social anxiety and you need time to recover from going out and being around people, all the same similar type things, time to yourself is absolutely vital. Time to recharge and just calm down and level out. I mean, I'm a single mum of 3, so I have to be determined sometimes to have my time, because your kids want your attention all the time. You think as they'd get older they'd need you less, but oh no, they still need you right now, immediately, when they need you. So sometimes you need to be very firm, and I think you need to be that all across the board, really. Every situation, sometimes you're going to have someone who doesn't necessarily think that you need to have time to yourself right now, when you know you need time to yourself right now. So learn to say no, learn to take that time for yourself, because it is really important to recharge and to sort of level out within yourself, and just to have some peace and quiet in your own head. Really, really important. It's because if you miss out on that time and you start getting aggravated and frustrated and upset, everyone's going to be on the wrong end of that, and then they're going to get upset and arsey at you, and it's like, hey, I needed the time and I could have taken it, I should have taken it, and I didn't, because I didn't know how to say no, or I didn't feel like I could say no. That's not to like make you feel bad if you really can't say no. I've been there and I know how it feels. Work on ways to say no that feel comfortable to you, but are firm enough to get the point across, because that time to yourself really is so vital. It's can't stress enough how important it is to have that recharging time for everyone. Everyone needs their recharging time. Even people who like to be around other people a lot will need time alone. So that is the final thing that I keep an eye on, to make sure that I am on a level. If all those things are in concert, then all I'm having to deal with is the normal cycles of my cyclothymia, and they are neither too high or too low. If I'm keeping all those things on a level, then I find it much easier, oh my god, so much easier to control my cyclothymia moods. Massively easier, especially when things are difficult in life, like, you know, because life has a habit of becoming very complicated and stressful. So if you're keeping on top of the things that help you keep in charge of your mental health issues, then when life is doing its thing and being as complicated as it can be, it's going to be so much easier to cope with. Oh my gosh. So yes, those 4 things: diet, exercise, sleep, and time to yourself. Keep an eye on them, and don't feel like you have to fit into a set routine or a set thing. Don't feel like you have to eat a specific way, a specific diet, unless your doctor has told you to and it's important for your health. Then you follow the diet that your doctor's told you. But otherwise, don't go the whole salads route if they don't make you happy. For God's sake, if eating salad makes you nothing but miserable, stop! Find another way to eat healthily. There's no set way of doing things. Unless it is vital for your health to eat a specific way, then you don't need to be doing that. Eating healthily is just eating a healthy, balanced diet and staying clear of fake stuff and preservatives and sugars, hidden sugars. Natural sugar is fine. Fruit sugar is actually fine. They're better for you than sweeteners. Sweeteners are terrible for you. Exercise when you can and how you can, and try and keep a mix up. Keep yourself interested. It's the best way to keep an exercise routine is to keep the amount of exercise you're doing to a minimum. So 20 minutes high impact exercising is so much easier than like an hour and a half in the gym. You're like, oh God, I can't spare that time. But you can spare 20 minutes. Easy. Have fun. Find something that you really enjoy that you can do as an exercise, because that also helps a lot. Sleep, the only thing that has helped me is exercise, so try and find your thing that helps you and try and stick to it, because sleep is vital. And time alone, definitely something you need to work on is saying no to people who don't want you to have that time when you need it. And that's all for this week's self-care. Next time I'm going to be talking about empty days, days where you wake up feeling empty and hollow. Kind of difficult to describe if you've not been there, but I'm sure everyone who's got mental health issues who's watching this knows what I'm talking about. They still occur when you're in recovery, and I'm going to speak next time about how I deal with them, how I get through them, and how I try and avoid them, if at all possible. And so I hope you'll join me for that. I hope this week has been helpful. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.